Huh. It's from Nvidia. Huh. Oh my. The 2060 Super, the 2070 Super, and the 2080 Super. Super. Pretty impactful word, huh? Well, as most of you know, Nvidia has decided to refresh most of its RTX line of GPUs. Meet the RTX 2060 Super, the RTX 2070 Super, and the RTX 2080 Super. So what has changed with this new Super lineup of GPUs from Nvidia? Well, the 2060 Super got around a 50% bump in performance from the 2060, mainly getting a jump in CUDA cores from 1920 to 2176. And the GDDR6 memory gets up from a 192-bit interface to 256-bit, as well as getting a 2GB increase. TDP is also up to 175 watts from 160 watts. Again, this translates mostly to a 15% increase in performance. Moving over to the 2070 Super, things get a little bit more interesting, and quite frankly, I'm the most excited about. The 2070 Super gets lifted from 2304 to 2560 in the CUDA cores department, as well as receiving a modest bump in both base and boost clocks. TDP is up from 175 watts to 215 watts. Not surprising to see this since there is an extra 6-pin PCIe connector. The one thing that got me excited was NVLink, something that was omitted from the original 2070 but now brought back. But why take it away and bring it back? Remember I said that Nvidia decided to refresh its line of RTX GPUs? Well, that's exactly what happened with the RTX 2070 Super. Based on the TU104 core, which happens to be the same exact GPU core used in the RTX 2080, means that the 2070 Super now supports NVLink SLI, which also means that for around $1,000 USD, two 2070 Supers in SLI could best a 2080 Ti for $200 less, albeit using more power and support for multi-GPU in applications and games could very well vary. Still, using a single, more powerful GPU is oftentimes a better, more stable solution. I still like the option is there to have an SLI configuration. So for about 96% of the performance of an original 2080, the 2070 Super just might be the best bang for your buck. Lastly is the new 2080 Super. This new GPU is a bit of a mixed bag. Performance increases is minimal, especially when compared to their OG 2080. So what really has changed? CUDA cores were increased to 3072 from 2944. Memory clock was juiced up to 15.5 gigabits per second from 14 gigabits per second, and TDP shot up to 250 watts from 215 watts. So this guy runs a bit hotter than its predecessor. So really, the 2080 Super IMO is just Nvidia playing with itself. No pun intended. There really isn't a competitor in the 2080 arena to go head to head with. It almost feels like Nvidia purposely gimped the original 2080 with the intentions of releasing a slightly more powerful variant a while later. Then again, Nvidia is a company that has to make year-over-year profits, and selling the same old isn't going to increase profits. Speaking of profits, pricing of the 2060 Super is $399, which is on par in terms of performance with the GTX 2070. The 2070 Super is priced at $499 and has almost the same performance as the 2080. Finally, the 2080 Super is at $699, dropping from the $799 that the 2080 launched for initially. So all of you that were early adopters, I'm sorry, but that's the way the tech world works. Something comes out and within a month or two later, it's replaced with a newer model. I'm not condoning this nor saying it's okay for Nvidia, Intel, or AMD to have a business practice like this, but unfortunately, it's the world we live in. Okay, so what about the benchmarks? Well, I ran a couple of polls on Facebook and Twitter, and well, it was pretty split. Having a total of 90 votes between the two of them, Facebook's poll was 51% yes with 49% no, while Twitter's poll was a bit more slanted at 41% yes and 59% no. Averaging the results comes to 46% yes and 54% no. So if you guys want to see numbers, I suggest checking out Linus, Jay's 2 Cents, or Gamers Nexus, as they have covered benchmarks with the Supers in greater detail. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed by now, you all know what to do. I will see you in the next one. Blue Devil, out.